Let me just start by saying thank you for being here. I'd like to start off by giving a bit of an intro. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending today's event. As we are about to begin, we would like to ask people who are slowly walking into the hall to kindly take your seats. We would like to begin on time. So, first things first, salam sejahtera and a very good morning to everyone. My name is Vishal J. Singh, and of course, I'm absolutely honored to be your MC for today. And on behalf of the organizers here at PAM, it's my honor to welcome you to today's event. Now, please be advised, as I have mentioned earlier, in regards to the CPD points, you need to scan 2 QR codes outside at the registration counter to record your presence at today's event. And this, of course, will be your proof to claim for your CPD. Okay, so remember, yeah? There are 2 QR codes to be scanned outside for you to claim your CPD. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we'd like to take a moment to thank our today's sponsors, Suzuka Coat St. Berhad, for their support of the event. And now we would also like to take this opportunity to invite our sponsor representative to have their introduction of the product, Ms. Jasmine Yap, who's a project marketing and specifications manager, to please come on to the stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, thank you so much.
Hi, good morning to all the PAM members, ladies and also gentlemen. I'm Jasmine, representative of Suzuka. So we are actually honored to be part of this technical seminar today. And then what I'm going to do is that on the next couple of minutes, I will just walk you through on a summary backgrounds of Suzuka and also our solutions. So as a start, this is just a short video on our company background. So Suzuka is actually a Taiwanese company, and it has been around for 46 years now. So we actually focuses on interior and also exterior solutions, whereby we offer you coatings in different texture, and also we do have wall panels and even our veneers. So our HQ itself is based in Meru Klang. If you are interested, you can always visit us. And then our manufacturing facilities also is right behind our HQ as well. And then the other 2 manufacturing facilities definitely we have is back in Taiwan and also Thailand. Okay, so today we have actually expand our global presence to across the States, Middle East, Asia, and even the other continents. And then if you are looking for a certain certifications, definitely our solutions are all well certified, aligning with the ISO 45001, 9001, and 14001. And if you do need any green certifications, definitely we also have our solutions all in SHAZRIN Eco Label, Singapore Green Label, and even the LEED verified documents if you need it. So because we do export markets, right, so we actually adhere to a certain standards as well, like the California Proposition 65 and even the SJS. Okay, so we have been exhibiting in Archidex for many years now. And then if you have visited Archidex this year, definitely we have won one of the best booth designs. Right? And then we always welcome you to our showrooms, directly run by Suzuka itself. We have 2 main showrooms. One is in Mont Cara, and the other one is in our HQ Klang. But then all the showrooms that are besides these 2 are definitely a venture with our partners. So we actually have different concepts in different showrooms, so you can go to each of them to have a look at it. This is the PJ one. Then we have it in JB, and this is the Moncara ones. Okay, so we have been working with big brands also, like the developers. Here are a range of them. And then also for retails, from automotive to unis, banks, and even F&B brands. And then even for the government sectors, right? So for Suzuka products, when we focus on coatings, wall panel, and brick veneers, definitely can be applied interior and also exterior. So starting with the coatings, for interior, we will focus on Strato. So I believe that a lot of you have seen our Strato series that we actually apply on our booth earlier on, right outside the hall. So for Strato one of the most signature one we have is definitely the cement texture one. So it usually comes in the shades of like the gray, beige, or even the brownish. But if you want to play with something which have more colors, you can go for the velour range. Both of them share the same texture, but then it actually comes in just different colors range. The smooth surface of it is actually non-reflective, but then it actually gives you like a matte kind of surfaces. Okay, so this is a comparison of both of them. And then you can also choose from different application method, because we have both trowel and piccolo. The trowel one usually will be much more subtle. The piccolo one will be much more obvious in terms of the texture. Okay, and then we also have something called Verosa. If you are already well with this lime paint, definitely you can go with Verosa. So Verosa actually have not much of a texture. It just gives you a different shades, just like a lime paint, but then it's a breathable paint. Okay. And then we also have linen. Linen comes in like a slightly much more textured. So when you touch on it, it's a little bit rough, but definitely it will share a contrast in terms of your application area. Okay, so if you have visited Coffee Bean recently, definitely you have seen this range. It looks like a wallpaper, but actually it's a coating. So it's a little bit reflective, and then it gives you a bit of the pearls effect. So under different lightings, different angles, you definitely will see the texture on the paint itself. And then if you want to not only use our coatings on the wall, definitely you can apply it on the ceiling as well. This is one of our project reference that we have done in Bangkok. The whole entire coating actually goes on top of the ceiling to create the industrial feel. The texture is very rough, but then under different lightings, it will shimmer. Okay, and then we have another one, which is flatter surface. It's smooth and also shimmery, which is organza. It looks like a real fabric. So you can have a feel of it at our counter later on outside. And then you can choose from even trowel or either piccolo as well. Okay, and then cashmere. Cashmere is something glittery. So just imagine that today you have a base coat with a color on top, like you do have some glitter dust on top, right? So you can actually use it for interior. And then for taffeta, is something like a reflections in the water, the movement of the reflections. So taffeta, you can actually highlight a certain place like your foyer feature wall, or even for your different living room area. Definitely taffeta is one of the ones that you can go for. Right, so those are the coatings for interior, but definitely for wall panels, we do actually provide also end-to-end solutions from supply to install. So this is our AXXU series, and it aligns with the fire retardant ratings of B1. So you can use it for commercial, indoor, and also for residential. Okay, so this is one of the AXXU installation video, just a short one. So from the video, you can actually see that it's easily cut and then it's very lightweight. So definitely if it goes on a wall, you will have a little bit much more reduced in terms of the sagging issues. So you can actually offset that. So AXXU is made from the PU material, and then it's paintable. So after a few years down the road, you want to change the colors, definitely you can actually repaint it. And it's manufactured in Malaysia itself, right? So in total, we have 6 different types of design. From the bamboo design, which comes in 8 different colors. Okay. And to the stone designs. So stone designs, we also have the one which is slightly flatter and the one that is slightly much more dimensional. So this is ARC 10. Okay, then we will have the ARC 20, which is slightly much more bolder. Right. And then we have the ARC 40, which is the flatter ones. Okay, and upcoming we will be launching another 2 more, which is ARC 50 and also ARC 60. So beside this one, actually wall panels can make wonders. So you can go for the standard installation or even the seamless installation. So for the standard ones, definitely you will see the joint lines, but if let's say you want to go for seamless installation, we can also do it for you. So it will come in the whole full piece. Okay, and sometimes because the fixed faces that you see may be limited, so definitely you can mix around for the installation. You can use 10 and 20 together, or even 20 and 40. Okay, and then those are for the bamboo and also the stone designs. But if let's say you are looking for something which looks much more concrete, you can go for our cast panel. It's easy and shorter time in terms of the installation. And then also the other thing is that for this one, definitely we gives you in 2 surfaces. One is the flatter one which comes with a hollow. That means a pitted effect. All right. We have standard 3 colors and standard 3 sizes. So you can pick and choose based on your preference or mix them around. So it gives you something like a raw feel in your ambience itself. Okay, so moving on, whatever you see interior, definitely it has a solutions for you exterior as well to do a matching one. So for the exterior one, which we have seen the cast panel earlier on, you can actually opt for our ECS system. But before that, we will have to share with you that this ECS system, to create the concrete effect, it can only be supplied and installed by Suzuka itself. So you can customize it into your sizes that you want, and also even the surface patterns. Okay, so we apply it layer by layer. All right, from the sealer, the undercoat, up to the top coat, we will actually customize it for you. Okay, so if you are comparing ECS and also our raw concrete, the installation time is slightly much more shorter, and also the preparation will be much more simpler as well. So it can go for different surfaces interior, but then for exterior, we will limit it to the standard surfaces that we have. Okay, and definitely the durability will be much more higher. And then this is one of our precast patterns. If you want it in a flat surface, we can do it. And then we can remove even the button shapes. So all customized to size. Okay. And these are some of our projects for residential area and even for commercial indoor. And then you can opt for the pitted effect patterns. Okay, and even the timber ones. So it comes in 3 different colors, so you can pick and choose from cool tone to the warm tones. Okay, So you have seen the Strato series earlier. So this is actually the monocrete one. If you have any colors to your preference, you can actually let us know. We can even customize it for you. Okay, so this is one of the material that you can choose from. If let's say today you have a cost that you want to manage. So if you are opting for a granite and then you want to reduce the cost and also the installation time, now it can be done through coating. So what happened here is that they will have 4 layers of coatings, and then we have a full system. That means 2 layers of primer, 2 layers of texture coat, and 1 layer of top coat. So this is one of the application video that we have. So usually granite comes in the surface of satin, but for ours you definitely can choose either you want it to be rough or either go with a top coat of the satin one. It still can actually be customized to it. Even for the groove line, we can also create it for you. And here is 2 types of grains. If you would like to have a larger grains and also a more colorful one, you can definitely go for type G. And then the much more simpler one, then you can go for type S. Okay, it's quicker in terms of the installation time because we just need 1 label to actually do the spray on instead of 2 for installation as compared to the real granites. And then definitely it's much more economical and maintenance free. So in terms of the features of our granite, definitely the spray-on one is much more easier to maintain because it's an anti-fungus, and then it do have anti-resistance of the breaking. So you won't have so much of the issues in terms of the breaking side because it's rubberized. Right? And then here you can see we can customize the groove line for you. Okay. And then moving on, if you don't like something which looks so much like granite, then definitely you can go for our Moderna coating. So Moderna coating comes in solid colors, but it has different patterns to it. Usually what we will advise you is that choose your patterns first before you choose your colors because it uses different tools to actually apply. Okay, so this is using the trowel to create the patterns. Okay, brush, even with rollers, or the spray-on ones. Okay, and also we have comb trowels. So upcoming, you will be seeing the different projects that we have done with different tools, different walls, and even it can set different tone to your whole entire ambience. Okay, this one also can be created with the pitted effects. Right? And these are some of our real life project reference. If you would like to look at the outcome of the moon, definitely you can see it in our HQ itself. We do have the full wall in the HQ. And this is one of the exterior one that we have done for horizontal and vertical application for our comb trowels. Okay, so then besides that, we do have texture coating as well. So texture coating actually mimics a few different stones. The first one definitely will be on the mineral flakes. So you will see like a chocolate chips like that. It will have a mixture of glitters and also larger grains in it. but then the surface itself is very rough. So if you want to opt for exterior application, definitely you can go for magic granite or even the stone coat. Stone coat will have a smaller type of grains. Okay, but for interior, we will usually use the ceramic coat because it mimics the fine sand, so it's much more simpler in terms of the looks. Okay. So this is some of the colors for the magic granite, the stony coat, and also the ceramic coat. Right? And then it's suitable for different surfaces. So for your counters, from concrete, wood, mortar, masonry to your gypsum board, it can be applied. It's just that it cannot go on your ceiling because it's too heavy for the ceiling board to bear. Okay, so this is some of the project reference that we have done. Exterior for a restaurant area. And then for interior, your reception counters or even your lobby areas. Okay, and then if you have a certain designs that you want to customize with different groove lines, it can be done. We will just customize to your specs. And then even for your facilities areas or the planter box. Okay, so if let's say you have existing tiles and then you want to do a refurbishment for a certain structure or building, you can even do a spray-on method. So your disposal will be so much more lesser and also it will bring down your cost as well. So this is part of it that we can work with you. Okay. So these are some of the projects that we have done previously. And then you can actually customize the colors that you want without any MOQ. You just tell us what's your grains and also the colors. Then we will actually match back. So these are some of the Putrajaya's projects, the government projects that we have done previously. Okay. And then if today you are looking for the conventional jumbo spray tile, definitely Suzuka is one of the pioneers in the market that we OEM for certain companies and we have it in-house ourselves. So we have it in two different patterns. One is the standard one is the head cut one. And you can even choose from the sizes, different sizes. So for the jumbo standard one, you can choose from the small grains up to the medium one and the large one. And also goes for the head cut ones. Okay, so the final outcome will look something like this. And then definitely you can use your emulsion paint on top as well. All right. And finally, we go towards our veneers. So Suzuka veneers have been well known in the market for many, many years now because we started as coating and then we have moved on to veneers for almost 30 years now already. And then for our veneers itself, we have different colors and then different sizes, just in case you will like something which we have innovated recently, which wraps your pillars. Because in the past, you will have to do a lot of cuttings and a lot of wastages to wrap a pillars or even to band it. Nowadays, we have already included our rubberized technology into our veneers, so you can actually band it. Okay. So even for ceiling applications, then if you have a limitations in terms of your wall weight, you can go for the next one, which is our cast stone light. It actually cuts down on the weight that goes on the wall itself. So this one will also gives you a much more better outcomes, and then also you can play around with your designs. Okay, and then for stone veneers itself, we do have a lot of stone veneers which looks like the wood grains ones. And then from the stone one, the big and also the small stones. Okay, and then we also do have cornerstones to wrap the edges of the pillars or even the the edge itself. And then for exterior, planter box. And even on your grass area, if let's say you want to opt for a certain tiles or certain placement, then you can use our DS03 or even 04. Okay, and then lastly, we have launched this during Archidex this year. It's called Carstone Edge. It plays around with a lot of geometry. It comes in 3 different colors, and then it has several shapes to it. So this is EG10. Under different sunlight and angles, you will see different effect of it. And then we have something which it looks like a feather, EG20. This is the small one. And then the next up, you will see the EG30, which is a slightly larger piece. So just in case you are concerned in terms of the shade variations or even the differences, right? Usually this one allows you to omit that concerns because you can actually repaint it to make it consistent. Okay. And then lastly will be our EG40, which looks like a fluted type of surface and also shapes. So this one can go for exterior wall. So just in case you want to use it near swimming pools area or any other area, definitely it's suitable. Okay, so that's all for my presentation today. I just want to cover something is that if let's say you would like to just go for our campaign, you have any projects that you have used Suzuka solutions, just snapshot, send it to us because we have this campaign running for iPad Pro. All right, so I won't open up for any questions for now, but you have any questions, you can come to our booth later on. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that very informative presentation. I'm sure a lot of us have benefited from that. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, please approach her in case you have any inquiries regarding the products displayed. So one more. Can we please have another round of applause for Ms. Jasmine Yap? And of course, for today's sponsors, Suzuka Code, Senyam Berhad. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like to invite our first speaker for today with a very melodious name, T.S. Raja SHAZRIN SHAH Raja EHSAN SHAH. So royal and so melodious. And before I formally invite him on stage, I'd like to give you a little bit of a bio as to what he'll be speaking about today, entitled Architecting Sustainability. T.S. Raja SHAHRIZAN is a sustainability expert at Galaxy Tech Solutions and a published researcher and adjunct professor at both UM and UTM. And he tackles environmental challenges through waste management, renewable energy, and green engineering, and collaborations with government, universities, and business translate research to practical solutions impacting regulations and sustainable practices. So, without further ado, let's welcome our first guest onto the stage. Thank you.
All right, Assalamualaikum, good morning everybody. Tough crowd, Aceh. All right, I'm here to talk about sustainability actually. The word architecting I thought would just draw a bit of your attention, kan? Because I'm assuming a majority of you or even maybe all of you will be architects this morning. As I was driving, on my mind being an environmentalist first, you know, I was thinking, Donald Trump won. So what do we have left, right? But, you know, and I was sitting there listening to Jasmine earlier on, and my mind like moved elsewhere. Now, we are always looking into wanting to offer original things, right? Then I was thinking, you know, looking at products that are coming from Suzuka, how would this change how we feel? Because, you know, a group of people might say, that's not granite, right? But I'm thinking, oh, okay, what does it mean? I mean, what is the value of originality now? It doesn't look any different from granite or wood or whatever she's presented just now in the last half an hour. I couldn't keep track. There's so many, right? But as we are moving along, you know, when we're looking at the construction sector, hi sir, more seats in front. Come, right? So as we are developing the construction sector, it contributes to 40% of the world greenhouse gases emissions. And when you have alternatives like products that Suzuka offer, you're going to have opportunities to reduce these emissions due to less consumption of resources. Cik, tuan, kat depan banyak gimana? Come. Right? Consumption of resources. Ni kursi hitam ni boleh. Right? Consumption, less consumption in terms of resources, concrete and whatnot. And, you know, the ease of installation, and I'm sure less resources and tools required to actually get the finished product. I saw some videos just now, ladies were doing the job, right? I mean, you know, they were just lifting it up. I'm thinking, is that a sponge? Right? But anyhow, that's how messed up my mind is in the morning. Anyway, so Suzuka, thank you. I'm here today, brought in by Suzuka, right? Sponsoring this talk today. Right, so that's me, Rajesh SHAZRIN Shah. I'm actually a chemical engineer by trade lah. And that's my contact information. If you scan the QR code, that will take you to my LinkedIn profile. I'm very capable there as well, talking about sustainability, greenhouse gases, sharing a lot of information. And if you like to follow the progress, or rather the mess in ESG, I do have a lot of information sharing there as well. So feel free to reach out. Else, you can approach me later. I do have business cards to give away as well. Okay? So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about climate change. Depending on how you respond, if you go, I'm going to skip it. But a lot of people don't know the fine details that are related to climate change. Sir, there's many more seats, sir. Sir? People coming. Sir, there's more seats in front. Sir. Oh, sir, come. More seats in front. Right? So, and then I'll talk about ESG a little bit. And then I'm going to talk about sustainability and what little I understand about your profession, right? In terms of design. And I'll try to relate on how Suzuka's product will bring a little bit of, how do you say, reduced restlessness, if that's the word to use when people talk about climate. Apparently now climate anxiety is a word, right? When we have so many things that we can be anxious about, climate is one of them. Now that Trump is up there, we should be a little bit more anxious, right? So I don't know. We have to see upcoming what other bright or not so bright idea he has in the pipeline. Okay, so introduction to climate change. I always start by asking, what is climate change? If I ask you what is climate change, now it's, my watch says it's about 26 degrees outside, not so hot, right? So it's bright out now, it rains in the afternoon. Is that climate change? Not really, that's weather change, right? So what do you talk, I mean, what do you refer to as a climate change? Now, many of you may use Microsoft Windows, right? I'm sure, right? So if you didn't change the settings, on the bottom right corner, beside the clock, you will see a widget that gives you some sort of random information, right? So one of these random information is on the weather. Perasan tak, dah ada weather to give you a report. And if you notice over the 1.5 years ago, after the release of Windows 10, it gives you this prompt, maybe so innocent prompt, record high, near record high, hotter than usual. Did you notice? Right? What does that mean actually? It's actually single. Tuan, depan ada lagi tuan, kursi. Boleh, ni depan ni. Meh. Alright, so what that actually signals is actually, in record, it has never been recorded to be this high, the temperatures. So that's climate change. Normally in this time of year, what it's telling you is normally at this time of year, is normally not that hot. Ini tak ada tipu punya, right or not? Because it's reporting whatever's happening now, right? So that's something that should be alarming, regardless of whatever the naysayers may say lah. And we do see other things that are happening. The sea level is rising, weather patterns are changing. We're getting more storms, more floods. But anyhow, some people need still a little bit of convincing. Okay, so the culprit of climate change is always referred to as greenhouse gases, okay, or gas rumah hijau, or carbon, whatever you want to call it. So these gases are not pollutants, right? So carbon refers to carbon dioxide, right? We remember what carbon dioxide is? It's CO2, something we breathe out. And the irony is carbon dioxide is not a pollutant, right? So pollution is very easy for us to understand. Now we have to change our minds a little bit. Pollution is very easy to understand. You take a chemical, you pour it in the river, the fish starts floating, right? Mati itu ikan, right? That's pollution, very easy to understand. But carbon dioxide is not a pollutant, right? So let me walk you through an analogy, right? So I met Jay. I don't like him very much, perhaps. Then I pass by as he's drinking coffee. He doesn't notice I pour some poison inside. Jay walks, falls dead. That's wrong, right? Can we understand? Can we agree that that's wrong? Okay, the different Jay, not this Jay. This Jay is very delightful, man. All right? So Jay dies after a few seconds of drinking the poison coffee. That's wrong, kan? Consensus. Okay, so I said, I might get caught, right? So I stretch it a little bit. I pour today, then tomorrow I pretend like, hey, I want to follow up, and I pour a bit more. After 3 days, Jay dies. Is it wrong? Wrong still. Okay, never mind. I want to stretch it a little bit longer. I do it over 30 days. Is it wrong? Okay, I stretch it a little bit longer. What if I do it over 10 years? I befriend Jay, I befriend his wife and all that. Every time I go to his house, I poison a little bit. After 10 years, true enough, Jay dies. Is it wrong? Okay, if we stretch, we're seeing a pattern here, right? If we stretch it a little bit more, 50 years, is it wrong? Still, it's wrong. So that's what carbon dioxide is like. We have been releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere over the last lifetime or so. We started releasing ridiculous, crazy amounts when we managed to get ideas. People like me, I'm sorry, chemical engineers are the culprits. Right or not? We dig the fuel already. Now we start burning things. We've become a civilization hungry for energy, right or not? You wake up in the morning, first thing, energy. Right? What do you do when you wake up in the morning? The thing that you can tell me lah. Alright? You switch on the light, that's energy. Ada orang raba-raba cari handphone. Handphone needs energy also to on, right or not? Right? So we've become a civilization hungry for energy. Right? Anyway, that's the culprit punya story. Different thing lah. So all this burning of fossil fuel, because that's how we extract the energy from the fuel, right? We burn it. And fossil fuel is carbon. And when you burn, you add oxygen, you get carbon dioxide. Right? And this is not a pollutant. We've established that this is not a pollutant. But it's not a pollutant now. But it does have some impact. And that impact is climate change. But the impact occurs, like me killing Jay in the long term just now, right? The impact occurs over a long period of time. So since the 20s, a spike over the 1950s, we have increased 45% the concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And going more. And the name of carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, is because it does the greenhouse effect, causing energy to be accumulated in the atmosphere, hence having the climate change. Itulah dia climate change. Can you understand? Or did I confuse you further? So, over the last 50 years, we have released bit by bit this gas that causes this climate effect up to what we see right now. So we are the culprits. When you start your car in the morning, when you turn on the stove to fry your char kway teow, right or not? These are little bit contribution to climate change. So that's what we've been doing. So greenhouse gases comes from many activities. It's not just from the petrol or the fossil fuels. It comes from agriculture activity as well. Because when we cut down trees, when we clear the jungle, the forest, to start planting trees, we are reducing carbon sink. So that's one, agriculture activities, right? So some people say agriculture, you plant vegetable, you plant tree, it's still green what? Not necessarily. Now we have to have a more detailed, granular understanding of how our anthropogenic human activities are contributing to this climate. Inilah ceritanya. That's what we need to have a little bit more understanding on. Of course, forestry, you cut down trees, and at the same time, you're also affecting biodiversity and all that, because everything is interrelated. Fossil fuel use, that's what I described just now. Now, the other one is industrial activities. Some industrial activities does have direct emissions. Now, with relation to you, which may be directly or indirectly related to the construction industry, we use a lot of cement, right? So where does cement come from? I was talking to some NGO. I have a lot of stories, I'm sorry. Anyway, I was talking to some NGO, they said, oh, we will not tolerate and we will not budge in terms of biodiversity credits and offset, dia kata. Right? I pun tengok, what do you mean? You cannot cut the mountain somewhere and then replace and improve the conditions of tigers and elephants elsewhere. No, we will not accept this. Then I'm looking at him, okay. We have to realize buildings like the TRX, KLCC is not made from cotton. Betul tak? We cannot grow cotton, then go and build the building, right or not? Maybe we can grow bamboo lah. Can architects make bamboo up to 180 meters or not? Can lah. I'm not an architect, I don't know, maybe you can lah. But the fact is, these are made of concrete which starts from limestone, right? You have to offset one mountain to build another mountain. That's a fact, and many people don't realize that. They are happy when something comes up, but not happy when certain things are being changed. So again, when I talk about originality, our romanticism with certain values that kita kenal kan, betul tak? Right or not? So I've become vegetarian 11 years ago. I don't eat and I don't wear, which explains the mismatching colours and the crazy shoes. Right? Right, because then someone tell me, oh, you're missing in life. I don't miss it. Because everything ada, dia punya replacement. Some people say, oh, you a lot of MSG. I'm still alive. Right or not? I'm not malnourished. You see, I got stomach also, so fat. Right or not? So, really, the things that we put to value and the things that we put onto taste, all these little things, I don't know, that this is your trade lah, architects, you must build something nice, right? So, again, now, let's go to other activities. Waste management. Where does our rubbish go? Again, in the construction industry, the overburden, in all life cycle, where you start removing the overburden and clearing the land, that's waste. Right? And this waste, as it decomposes, it brings up more greenhouse gases, your carbon dioxide and also your methane into the atmosphere. And then during the construction phase, you use a lot of cement and concrete. Oh, I forgot about the industrial activity. Banyak cerita sangat macam tu lah. Where you take the limestone from the mountain, then you have to heat it up, kan? Calcination. The calcination, limestone is calcium carbonate. And then when you heat it up, it actually becomes calcium oxide. Now, oh my gosh, I see Jasmine's eyes. What is he talking about? Right, anyway. Calcium carbonate, when you heat it up, you get calcium oxide. That actually releases carbon dioxide into the air directly. So dalam proses tu pun dah ada. Not to mention the heating up to 1,000, 1,600 degrees uses a lot of natural gas. Again, more carbon dioxide. But because this is carbon dioxide, nobody cares. If we talk to, okay, there should be custodians for the environment, betul tak? What is the Jabatan Alam Sekitar doing? The Department of Environment? No, in the regulation under Environmental Quality Act, Akta Kualiti Alam Sekeliling, carbon dioxide is not seen as a pollutant. You can emit as much as you want. Nobody cares. Yeah. So this is the reason lah. The compliance and the compliance framework does not cover carbon dioxide. So who cares? We are killing the world over a long period of time, like how I'm killing Jay. Okay? So in waste management, consumer products, you can relate all this. Now again, electrical appliances. We are hungry for energy, I mentioned, right? So the carbon dioxide is there as well. Now, there's a concept to be learned here. When we switch on the light, carbon dioxide comes out from the bulb. Correct? No? No lah, unless that's the lampu nyamuk yang warna biru tu, betul tak? right? So what happens? I'm using electricity to switch on the light. Electricity comes from TMB. TMB produces electricity from nuclear. No. Not so, oh, very tough crowd, right? TMB burns fossil fuels, natural gas and coal still. If you don't know, it's about half-half. And then these other things that people think, the hydro and the wind tak ada. Solar is very less. Solar is how many percent? So that you have some guilt when you turn on the light later. How many percent solar? We see a lot of solar farms, right? Going to KLIA, you see some big solar farms, right? 15, okay. Does that sound reasonable? It's a single digit, by the way. That's how much? About 7-8% last I checked. What are we doing? Is it rapid enough or not, what we're doing? This one question we ask later. So that's electrical appliances. Then you have your biomass burning and of course electrical insulator. Electrical insulator there is because there's this gas called sulfur hexafluoride, SF6. Now, its warming for each kilo that is released is 23,500 times of carbon dioxide. That's why it's there. But I don't have much time, right? Until what time do I have? 10:15, not 10:50. All right, I'll try to go a little bit faster. Okay, so if you look at organizations like GHG Protocol, they have actually organized the emissions into 3 scopes. Scope 1 is direct emission, which you see in the vertical arrow. And then scope 2 is indirect, but through electricity purchase. That's what you saw just now. Now, scope 3 is 15 categories upstream and downstream. You see goods purchase, goods and services, you see waste management, and you see end of life of products. This is where we can make the change. Because when you look, 95% of emissions come from supply chain, which is the scope 3. This is where we have control. Okay? I'll explain a little bit more later. So when we talk about climate change, what are we scared about? What should we be scared about? Clearly, it's not the temperature, because if you look at IPCC's publication, IPCC tahu, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, right? If you look at their publication, they're talking about 1.5 degrees. Are we scared about 1.5 degrees? Ooh, 1.5 degrees. The scientists also don't know how to market. We should get architects there, right? I always like to see, when I entered, this is the first time I'm in this building. Normally I pass by, I thought, wow, what an artistic building. Now today I come in, I'm more impressed. Everything looks so nice, and you know, there's lighting, ventilation, okay? People like me can only appreciate We don't know how to even begin. So thank you, architects of the world, right? Anyway, what are we afraid of? 1.5 degrees. What does that refer to? That's actually the global average temperature It's not the temperature, because 1.5 degrees kita tak heran, betul tak? When we on the aircon, we recommended to set at 24, right? What do we do when we go home? We set it at 16, right or not? So the difference is 8 degrees. That didn't kill us, right or not? In fact, if it's hotter, we make our aircon stronger right or not? Apa kita takut? Kita tak takut. We're not afraid of the temperature. But if you recall, if you look when we talk about 1.5 degrees, 2 years ago in Pakistan, the temperature soared up to 52. At a water-stressed country, 52. Again, scared or not 52? It didn't kill them. It didn't kill us. We can go out, come back in on aircon. So what is the issue with 52 degrees? Now, some countries like this may have a lot of agriculture activities, right? Let's say you plant some grain. If you plant rice, how many seasons do we have? 2 maybe a year. Some maybe the GMO, maybe 3 I don't know. But 2 So, at 52 degrees, let's say Abu has a grain plantation. Dia dah naik 52 degrees, what can he do? He's worried now, how are my plants doing? What can Abu do? Abu can pour more water right? But it's a water-stressed country. Now what can he do? He can phone China, can you make me a lot of umbrellas to put onto the payung or all his pokok? Can he do that? Cannot. He cannot call Suzuka also to make cover, can Maybe but it doesn't make sense. So how long can the plant recover? So one day, maybe the plant's still okay. Second day, he sees some browning. Third day, it's gone. And when it's gone, it's gone. 1 season gone, 6 months. He has to pay salary of his staff still. and no income. On top of that, he can no product. This why kadang-kadang kita pergi supermarket, tiba-tiba bawang mahal, betul tak? So it's food security also. It does affect us. Don't say it doesn't. What about for crops like palm oil? It's not 6 months. Palm oil take 10 years to grow before it starts producing, right or not? So if the palm oil, I went to MPOB that day, I asked, if the temperature soar to 52, how long can the palm oil tree tahan? Because we cannot make big umbrella for the palm tree, right? It doesn't make sense also. So all these things are related questions that we ask. And you know, the things that we are afraid of are the effects of this temperature rise. People are talking about sea level rise. This is common, betul tak? Right? People are talking about change of weather pattern, storms. I won't even go into it because these are common things that people talk about. But when we talk about sea level rise, how much sea level rise? If the Greenland glaciers melt, you're talking about 5 meters of sea. In the north, about 70 meters of sea. In the south, Antarctica is about 150 meters of sea. We have to be afraid lah. So these are some things that can happen. So where is this coming from? Industrialization, as I mentioned, driven by the hunger for energy, has caused an increased amount of greenhouse gases going into the atmosphere, which caused the greenhouse effect, global warming, and climate change. But things are changing. Things are changing. We are seeing global trends setting up the target, which is the Paris Agreement, half by 2030, 0 to 2050. Right? This is what we see. Now we are seeing a lot of encouragement, legally encouragement, right, to report emissions. If you notice recently, the NRES, Ministry of Environment and Sustainability, right, Environment, Resources and Sustainability, they have come up with RUPIN, Rang Undang-Undang Perubahan Iklim Negara. There's a lot of carbon things that's there. The first draft is out, so we don't know when that's coming, but I heard that there's a cap and trade system that there will be carbon tax introduced. Things are about to change. You see a lot of efforts on electrification, renewable energy, and carbon offsets. All right, so ESG, what is it? It's a reporting framework that is introduced by Bursa for companies to disclose their sustainability performance, which includes the environmental performance, social performance, and governance performance. Environment means take care of the planet, that's it. A lot of topics there, I will not talk about it because there's not much time left. Anyway, social is just keeping everyone happy around you. And then governance is, I'd like to pinjam our former Prime Minister's punya statement, jangan menyangak mana-mana. That's governance lah. You tak menyangak mana-mana, the company will run. Right? So that's ESG. Of course, there is a standardized way for you to disclose, but ESG sits on a, I would like to call it a weak premise actually, because the regulation for ESG is just by Bursa for the company to disclose. Apart from that, there's no prescription. Dia tak suruh you reduce your energy consumption, dia tak suruh you reduce your emissions. It just say you must disclose. So why does it work? Why people still want to do ESG? I selalu cakap the easier way to explain is, kalau muka you tak malu, muka you like a biawak like that, right or not? This year you disclose same, next year you disclose same lah. But people got not the muka biawak, so next year they want to always improve, right? So maybe that's why ESG has become a little bit of a thing that people are moving lah, amongst other things as well. Okay, so that's what ESG is. Now it's a balance of environment, social and economy because what we are looking is an equitable balance in the middle lah, because you can't have just two. If you just take care of the environment and the people, the economy will not meet. Betul tak? The company will rugi, company will die, environment and social pun mati juga. Right? If a company just looks at the profit and taking care of the people, the environment will suffer somehow. Right? And if the company just looks into profit and just the environment, the people will suffer. This is the balance that we're looking for lah. That's why when people talk about sustainability and all that, this balance of the three, people, planet, profit. Profit must be there, betul tak? We still want to drive our Porsche and Mercedes-Benz, right or not? The value of things, I'm vegetarian, I still want Mercedes-Benz. Right? Anyway, so it's a balance of economic systems, environmental systems, and social systems. As you are disclosing, I find many of my clients, what happens is, they transform the way that they operate, right? Because the decision-making change. Just like we mentioned about Suzuka's product just now. Now, I would want a big house. Okay, that doesn't change. But, you know, if I want to show grandeur and lavishness, I would put granite panels everywhere. Betul tak? Look like the Taj Mahal. Right? Right or not? Then people come, wow, very cool, nice. Right or not? Itu yang kita cari, betul tak? But now, if I'm thinking, okay, this will cause destruction, J will die in 30 years. Right? Because of the granite and the concrete and whatever is required, 40% of emissions globally come from the construction sector. Right? Now, if we adopt for greener solution, right, Suzuka, I help her promote today, okay, things can be a little bit better. Can still look like Taj Mahal, still have the Taj Mahal feel. What changed? The only thing that changed is people that have the fine thing like they pergi, like your mother-in-law. This one look like not real lah, dia kata. Shh, we say. Right? So anyway, that's what it is lah. So ESG actually transforms company lah. So, do I have time? Okay, a little bit. So I'm just going to say ESG is a reporting framework. Like a Cinderella story, it has standards thing lah. It has a standard feature. So 4 things that it mentions is, one is management, which is the materiality. They acknowledge, you acknowledge that your activity has an impact to the environment, to the social, and to the company. Right? For example, I use a lot of energy, therefore I have a lot of emissions. That's it. Right? And then your strategy. First, before strategy, your outcome lah. I know I have emissions, I target net zero. That's the outcome. And then your strategy. How do I achieve net zero? Oh, I want to install solar panels. I want to install Suzuka panels. Right? And then the progress. Oh, this year, because I install solar panels, my emissions reduce. That's it tau, ESG report. You bayar ratus-ratus ribu, itulah reportnya. Right? I'm a consultant, boleh lah bayar saya. Okay? So these reports then translate, it goes to Bursa, you get ratings, improve, it affects your share prices and such. But it's actually this is the model that I came up to explain the relationship between ESG, CSI, and SDG. Sustainability is something that everyone wants, right? So sustainability is driven by SDGs because SDGs are actually, have an effect on social and the environment. And for you to have an effect, positive social on the environment, it's through the CSR activity, which is done by business entities, which is actually driven by ESG and also customers and users, the ethical behavior that they want. All right, so that's the one. So in ESG, you have environment, right? So again, like how Jay just now, this is Ella, she's from UK. She died at the age of 9. I silent kat situ, jam pula tak silent. Naruk betul. Anyway, she's the first human being that sets a precedent. Legally, on her death certificate says she was, the cause of death is environmental pollution. Right? Because she had an asthma attack and there's fine details there, but it's acknowledged. She died because of pollution. Right? And with that, WHO says 24% of human death can be related to this, which is why I wanted to use the analogy of poisoning too. Because we don't know, when we start our car in the morning, how much of the pollutants and gases that came out from my car went to Ella. And the other 24% human death. I'm not saying don't drive. Maybe tomorrow can take bicycle. Can ah? But can. Or you still have to drive because world needs to go on. I'm not saying this is the balance. But I'm saying now you have to know the impact. You tahu. So that tak ada lah, you tak ada kerja nak buat, you go sit in the car, on the aircon, listen to the radio, right? No, you don't do these kind of things. Right? The world has changed. We have become a little bit more conscious. When we want to drink our boba tea, we don't use straw anymore, right or not? Why? Because the straw went up the turtle's nose. Right or not? So when we want to drink, we always remember, oh my gosh, turtle. Right? So we use that straw yang gede-gede tu yang boleh makan tu. Where is it from, that one? Cha Time, Tea Life. Have you ever tried that straw? Delicious or not? I didn't try lah, I got braces, patah my gigi, cannot. Right? So this is the one that we need to look at. This is a trend, if you can see. This is a trend of concentration ataupun global green carbon emissions. If you can see above 1950, it spiked up. So we cannot say no. It happened due to us, human being. Nak drive kereta, nak aircon our house, everything. Nak Hermes bag, Birkin bag. Anyone got Birkin bag here? Got value or not, Birkin bag? Is it different from my Kipling backpack? Different a little bit, right? But anyway, we have to realize. Another thing, the ladies like to wear gold, right or not? Got value lah, no gold. This is good crowd, you know, because when I talk to professional, this joke never runs. Right? But anyway, you can tell people, the gold, 1 gram of gold, to produce 1 gram of gold is 20 tons of carbon dioxide. So kalau you pakai rantai emas tu, walaupun macam janggut udang tu, right? Like the whisker of the apa nama, prawn, it's going to be 3-4 grams, right? The 60 tons of carbon dioxide. So later you tell your friend, I don't wear gold not because of I don't have money. It's carbon dioxide. Okay? The guys, you can tell that to your mother-in-law. No, I didn't put gold on your daughter because of this. This one, apa dia belajar Saturday morning. Anyhow, on the social part is where you look at, social aspects lah. Work, child labor, you have your human rights, you have your ethics, labor rights and whatnot lah. In governance is where you look into integrity, anti-corruption, bribery, everything is there lah. So, are we sharing the slides with them? If you're interested, my slides are not copyrighted, you can have it lah, because there's a lot of information that I didn't cover as well. I think you can ask the secretariat, I give permission to share it in PDF. So, Suzuka lah, they bring me here, I have to up a bit. Alright, so in design, as I mentioned a couple of times just now, you still have that flexibility and the creativity of design, right? So we just have to re-educate ourselves in terms of value. So kalau dulu, in some industries it's already happening, right? If you use hand-me-downs dulu, it was like, oh, you're so poor, hand-me-downs. Now it's becoming a thing, right? This vintage thing has a value in fashion. So what about in architecture, in construction, in your sector? Let's make it a shame for people to use granite. Boleh tak? You use granite, you don't know, this one killing people. Right? You're killing Ella in 20 years. Can? So these are the change. We see change. For example, not so long ago, I'm talking 1 year, 2 years. Remember the hate that we have when we go to the shop, they didn't give plastic bag. Right or not? Celaka ini kedai. Betul tak? Now we go, we realize we don't feel that hate because we know. No plastic bag. If you don't bring, you pay 20 cents. If you go to KK, RM1.50, right or not? You buy the KK bag. Speed mart bag, right? But later in the future, you will see, don't go that shop, it gives plastic bag, you know. You know shame. That kind of talk we want. And I think it will change. So I think architects are custodians to change this in the construction and in the property sector, right? Green building and all that kind of green building. I'm sure many of you are green building people here. Redefine what is meant to be green building. Go beyond energy and resources. I saw the green building, it's more on the material, ada sikit, and it's more on energy conservation, it's more on water and resources conservation. So now you can go beyond further to change the values that people are looking at. So material selection is also there, and you have still climate resilience because it's all products. It's all sustainable products that are put into products. And I saw, here, the material of choice. Then you also have all these other things, low volatile organic carbons, the solvents that they use. It's, of course, longevity. You can use inside and outside. Why? Why is this important? Of course, good value for money is one thing, but when you buy things that are operable for a longer period, it means that you don't have to change for a longer period. I didn't say just now, Jasmine say, if you don't like the color, later 2 years down the line, it becomes a little bit faded, right? Paint it over. Boleh kan? Dia tak mereput dan sebagainya, right or not? So that's where you can reduce your environmental and carbon footprint. Now, I think this one I already mentioned lah. It's also low maintenance. I'm just wondering if got the groove, the dust will build inside, right or not? Later have to lap kan. Saya malas sikit tak boleh. So maybe don't take the the apa tu, yang macam longkang sikit tu lah. Ambil yang macam bambu tu you use feather duster can. Right? So, some of the things that they have done, I went through their website and their products and whatever the company is doing. I think that they are providing new solutions. I think that they are providing a good avenue for us to change our mindset, which I hope all of you will go back and talk. I mean, there's 150 of you here. I hope 150 people will go and talk about, you know, Birkin bag is nice, but wait for Birkin to come up with the protein leather. Oh, okay, the thing is, they will come up with protein leather because they will move with time. But are you willing to pay 150,000 for protein leather? That's what you can change. Because other people will say, if I want to buy a bag, $800, 800 ringgit. I like this brand called Belroy, right? It's from Australia. It's made from eco-friendly products. But my friend said, hey, you pay 1,500 ringgit, it's canvas, oh. Yeah, it's canvas. So this is what we need to change lah. So when Hermes makes 150,000 ringgit handbag from protein leather, please buy. Yeah, because you have to create the demand. Otherwise you say, no, we want those calf leather. You know or not, the cow fart how much? Anyway, they don't fart, they burp. That's where the methane comes from. So last slide, I promise. Secretariat dah marah tak? 1 minute extra already. One of the things that Suzuka has and many other products should have, one is the use of less hazardous and toxic material. They don't have formaldehyde and lead, which are concerns for carcinogenic environments. And formaldehyde is a solvent. It can actually increase your volatile organic carbon for your indoor air quality. All this is something that you should be looking at. And on top of that, they also have in their facilities efforts towards minimizing waste, reducing disposal, and they also have water management. So I have to applaud them for that lah, right? And of course, they are moving towards cleaning up their supply chain as well. They're looking at where their products are coming from. We have yet to see the ESG report coming. Can call me to write also. Can I market myself like that? Anyway. They are also adherent to many environmental standards, amongst other standards that you saw to uphold their quality as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much. And I thank Suzuka for bringing me here today to meet all of you wonderful architects. Do keep in touch. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It really was delightful as well. Let's have another round of applause for T.S. Raja SHAZRIN, Shah Raja EHSAN, Shah for the talk. You might want to find out anybody from Fashion Valley is here or not, you know. Tak mengaku, betul juga. Okay, I'd like to make an announcement with the owner of this red JUE 4057. The red car, JUE 4057. You need to please move your car. Apparently, I've been told it's blocking something, but I don't know what. Okay? JUE 4057. Please remove your car. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also mention that we're going to take a 30-minute break. Please be advised that refreshments will be served on level 1 outside and the gallery, and at level 6. So please help yourself and back to the hall by 11 a.m. Okay? Selamat menjamu selera, and we'll see you here at 11 a.m. Thank you. Shall we? So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see all of you here again. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome our second speaker on stage, architect AXXU HOI. And before I formally introduce him, I'd like to give you a bit of a background info. Architect AXXU HOI is a practicing architect and sustainability specialist with a robust academic background and extensive professional experience. He holds a Master Science in Integrated Sustainable Design from the National University of Singapore. Excuse me. In 2012, a Master of Science in Architecture from Edinburgh University and a Bachelor of Science in Architecture from the University of Malaya. Architect AXXU is the managing partner of AXXU Design Architects in Berhad, a company he founded back in 2021, and has held many key roles locally and internationally in several firms and projects. His dedication to sustainable architecture continues influencing the industry's shift towards green building practices. So, without further ado, I'd like to please welcome architect AXXU HOI onto the stage for his presentation. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, our fellow architects and guests. I'm AXXU HOI. Today we're going to sharing with you on the climate design. Can it work? Can. Or change. Is there any non-architect here on the floor? Oh yeah, only you. Oh, okay. So I assume all architects friends here. Quite pleasure though you speak in front of all the architects, you see. I try my best, but we try to make our Saturday more relaxed. Don't give me a lot of pressure, is it okay? Okay, yeah. Okay, well, by the way, besides practicing, I'm also teaching in Taylor's University for the last 10 years. So I'm more on the practicing a research background. And before we start today's topic, are we in the real trouble? Well, just now our guest speakers talk about all this carbon, you know, you kill people in 50 years, in 100 years. But are we in the real trouble? Are we feel there is something real or just a hoo-ha things? Now, the first issue, the first trouble we review, we are in the unsustainable exploitations of non-renewable energy resources and pollutions. This is a real problem number one. As you know, all our energies is derived from the non-renewable resources, especially the fossil fuel and pollutions. And just now we talked about the cement, the limestone. Where the limestone coming from? From here, my hometown, Ipoh. When you go to Ipoh, this is the scenes that you see. So we all take the mountain from the Ipoh and turn into building. So that is something we so-called non-renewables. When it's gone, it's gone. And there is a billboard in front of the site. Dana sumber yang tidak ganti. I'm totally agree. Actually, this billboard is from the PDG. Maybe they have an issue with the, with the one who do the mining there. Okay, so this is something is gone. It's gone. The marble, the cement we use for our building is all from our natural Mother Earth, and especially from my hometown, Ipoh. And by the way, my home is just behind the mountain. So, it changed our landscape. It's quite unused to it. From young, we see this mount, all the while, and suddenly it's gone. And pollutions, every July or every summertime, the so-called summertime, July, September, we have pollutions because the burning crops from our neighbor countries. You see, pollution is worse than COVID. If COVID, we just close the border. But pollutions, we can't close the border and stop the pollution coming in. So it's a global issues. And this is real. Let's look at the global primary energies consumptions by source. Despite we're talking about the renewable energy for the last 20 years, but as you know, just now, our guests say there's only 7% renewable energies used in TMB. And in the world, well, actually, it's much, much lesser. And the primary energy is still using fossil fuel. This is a percentage we are talking about. For solar, it's 2%. Wind is 3%. Biofuel is 0.7%. This is global data. So at top right, it's talking about less than 6%. Despite the 20 years we have developed the solar panels. Now there's a fact, yeah. The trouble number 2, the second troubles, the real trouble is growing populations, sinking ecological footprint, and the battles of the limited resources. Now what does this mean? Ecological footprint means whatever we consume, yeah, even vegetarian, even though we are not using leather, we still have to get it from our Mother Earth, correct? We still need land. We still need to somewhere to produce the stuff for us. So they call ecological footprint. The more you consume, more you eat, the more ecological footprint you are. Our shrinking Earth, this calculation is we take all the land, divide by the populations of the year. So in 1900, every one of us owned 7.91 hectares of land to sustain our lifestyle. But up to 2005, it's down to 2 hectares. And 2030 is 1.69 hectares of land per populations. And 2050, we talk about 1.44 hectares per person. Now, what does it mean? In 2030, you take all the land, divide by populations, we are talking about 1.69 hectares only left. Okay. Now, by calculations, if you live like an American, they need 9.5 hectares per person, the lifestyle, because they eat burger, yeah, they are more hammers back than us, they drive a bigger car. Now we're talking about UK is 5.8 hectares, China is 2.6 hectares, India is 1.3 hectares. For middle income like Malaysia, we are 2.5 to 2.6 hectares. Means our lifestyle, we need 2.5 hectares to sustain. This is an ecological footprint. Means if the populations keep growing, in 2030 we might face a problem. This is a map of the ecological footprint. The red one is a deficit. Means that the land is lesser or smaller than can sustain their populations in terms of the ecological footprint. So what we left, I think Brazil is still the best country. They still have a lot of resources to sustain populations. Australia, not bad. You know that Australia is one of the least population density on the planet. They only have a 0.5% of land being used or occupied by the populations. And so the population is lesser than Malaysia. Yeah. So that is a map that we have to look into. And bear in mind, you know, the biocapacity can offer us per person is can down to 1.6 hectares in 2050. And our normal footprint, we need 2.6. Actually, we're still in deficit in the next 20 years. So where's the deficit means? Means either we take resources from other countries, or we have to recycle most of the things, or we have to dilute. Yeah. For example, now a lot of a genetic food actually is to dilute the vitamin. I heard the tomato we take today is lesser vitamin than 20 years ago. Right? We put into the built environments context. In the old day, our parents, even though their income is not as good as us, but they afford to have a big house, landed house, and farm the chicken in front of them, correct? But can you see our younger architects here or graduates here, how much salary you take, and what can you afford to stay? Maybe you earn more than our parents, but you only can stay in the pigeon's hole, which is 600 square feet studio in KL. Is that correct? Means that we are lack of resources. This is because of populations. Yeah. This is a real pictures taken from one of my friends from web structure. The left-hand side is the America townhouse, and the right in the China village. Here you see American typical lifestyle, big car, SUV, big house, landed. Yeah. And one of the villages in China, it's just a small quarter, can fit in 4 people inside. American family, maybe just 4, same 4. But how much resources they are consumed compared to the China. Now, don't forget, China is one of the most populated countries on the planet. And they're also growing their economy. So China's ecological footprint is growing 4% per year. Means that every year they need 100 million hectares of land to supply their populations. Yeah. So that is a fact. And the fact is, populations never stop. Yeah. So maybe you will ask, what can we do? Can we do something about it? We cannot grow our planet. What can we do is don't have so many baby. Yeah. That's why a lot of young people now, they don't marry. Yeah. And not as many kids like last time. Yeah. 2 or 3 is enough. Yes, and this is a natural growth. We need to facing the challenge. Therefore, what can we do besides not having a lot of babies? We have to, as architects, we'll come up with the design solutions. And the design solutions is simple. To create a high-performance building. We cannot stop buildings, but we need to create a high-performance building that responds intelligently to its environment. By analyzing and integrating climate data, we need to understand our climate. The approach is maximize the energy efficiency. We cannot stop to using energy, but we can maximize the energy efficiency, enhance occupant comfort. Of course, the built environment, user comfort is our main objective. And minimize the environmental impact. I think this is the ways that we can do for the design. Now, let's talk about the climatic design. Just now, our MC say, you never heard about climaticalism, right? Yes, because I create it. Why? Through my teaching, yeah, we teach the students concept. Architects like to talk about concept. What is concept? Well, a lot of people say it's ideas, it's inspirations. But concept actually is a con, and make people accept it. When you're teaching, why a con? How to con people? Now there are a lot of scam. You tell story. Yeah, you make up a story, like real. Yeah, inside out. My philosophy. My philosophy durian. Made like a durian, because our culture is durian. Malaysia like durian. KLCC like jagung. There's a jagung concept. Yeah, so we make up a lot of story and make people accept it. There's a good concept. But we teach climate design, right? So say, okay, why don't we make it convince, not con? But how to convince? Convince is different with con. Convince, you need fact and data. Everything based on measurement, based on performance. It's not make up a story. Therefore, we talk about climatic design because it's the fact. Yeah. Now, if we talk about climatic design, architecture, we like something fancy. It's so low level. Everyone know it. I make up the things. Okay. Let's add some word thing in. Climaticalism, architecture, we like audism, postmodernism, deconstructivism, just to make your students more interested on this topic. This is how the climaticalism come by. Of course, if you study all the Greek architects in the history, it's all designed based on the climate. Now, Le Corbusier, I think all our architects know our father of postmodernism architectures. Villa Savoia, one of the moderns, is moderns, but it built 1929, as you know, before the aircon come in. in the location in the Paris, yeah, and dry and cold. And this is the weather data. It's a relatively cold climate, not much sunlight. And this is the Chantika complex in India, in built 1950. Also not widely used on aircon. And can you notice that these two buildings actually designed, this is the weather of the Chantika, just to show you the data. And I do the comparison of these two buildings. How can the same architects have a very different strategies on the design? If you look at the building, can you see the Villa Chavia? Oh, so fast. The Villa Chavia is a white Chavia. Savoy, sorry, French, Savoy. Villa Savoy. There are no sun shading device, the ribbon windows, so the light, the sunlight can penetrate fully inside the house. And the rooftop gardens, because they want to enjoy the sun bath, it's the casement windows. During the winter, they want to stop the wind, penetrate inside the house. So this is how they treat the facade. And Chantika complex have a huge gutter. Now that one is not concept of a cow horn. Yeah, a lot of people say, oh, because in India, so they design cow horn. It's a gutter. It's a storm water gutter because it's a storm rain. And you see a lot of fins, and the facade is a lot of opening for the wind penetrations, and also a sun shading device. You see the huge sun shading device on the side. And don't forget the Chantika, in front of the building, they have a pond, yeah, to cool down the temperatures. So this is the proof. A Greek architect, they always design based on the climate. Now, if you're not convinced enough, we show another Greek architect, Norman Foster. I think everyone knows this building before, right? This is buildings. Oh, the screen is not showing the full name. It's a St. Mary X, but the nickname is called Gherkin Tower because the concept looked like Gherkin, demon, yeah, or British Sarret. Yeah, so that we have a demon. Actually, what's the design concept? Now, in London, I practiced in London before. In London or China, actually the setback, they have a setback for the sun angles. So they have a setback for sun angles. Your building cannot block this setback to maintain the minimum sunlight on the street. So if your site is here, this is a maximum you can build. Yep. So as you know, a Greek architect, we always maximize our efficiency. So what happened here? Therefore, why don't they fill up the gap, follow the sun angles, and this is how the tower come in. Yeah, simple ideas. And this is the final design, sun angles. Now, Norman Foster is not just, design the sun, reduce the sun strategies on that building. In this building, Berlin Parliament renovations designed by Norman Foster, he added a dome on top of it. Yeah. Why? Because let the light penetrate deep into the plan. And you see a lot of mirror because they want to make sure the light can reflect into the whole hall. Yeah. So it's another buildings that enhance the sun angles. And this one of an earlier building, this is a London City Council. You can see the facade is different on both sides. Why? Because on the left-hand side, they're facing the good view, and also is a common area. On the right side is the office. Office, they don't need a lot of lighting, too gray. Yeah. Therefore, even though we provide a big opening, a bright sunlight for the office, actually during the operations, right, they don't like it. Yeah. Now, this is how they design based on the context. On the common area, the corridor will be on the more opening side, and the office on the other side. Designed according to the sun angles. Norman Foster, all related to sun. All about the sun. Now, if you're not convinced enough, we introduce another great architect, Dr. Keng Yang, our Malaysians, one of the greatest architects in history. Yeah. Singapore Library, this National Library in Singapore, designed by Keng Yang. Now, Keng Yang is very good at wind. Actually, I worked with Keng Yang before during my early career path, so he my ex-boss. This building, you have a huge atrium. Atrium always can create a stacking effect. And when you want to create a stacking effect, you always have the opening on the ground floor with the fins. And how to create the ventilations? If a scientific, maybe you know, actually ventilations is created by pressure. We just create different pressure. And how architect create a pressure? Using the space. When the space, you have a tiny space, you have a larger space, so you play with the spaces, then you will create a pressure. Yeah. So for the entrance, you have this kind of shape to invite the wind, press the wind coming in. Press. When press the wind coming in, then we have a large opening on the atrium, and this is how to create a stacking effect. I visited this building, and you see very windy in the center court. I don't know if you've been there. Another early building, Umnor Tower. If you look at the floor plans, the floor plans, you see actually the fins wall is on the both sides along the lift corridor. And this is to create the natural ventilations. The fin wall actually is to direct the wind get into the lobby. And you can see the fin wall is larger in the beginning and getting smaller, narrower. And this is how to create a wind speed, wind tunnel. In scientific way, we call Venturi effect. Yeah. So this is all science. Of course, a lot of people thought, no, this concept is a shade because in Penang near the sea. So this is more on concept. Yeah. But in reality, when the architect wants to design something, really performs, we need to understand the science. We need to understand the climatic data and how you orientate the building facing the monsoon wind, etc. Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge involved. Another project, early projects. This is a TTTI, TTI Plaza. TTI Plaza, they have a triangle shape, and all the points they have a narrow opening, and in the center they have 3 huge extract fan. It's mechanical fan, no aircon. During 90s or early 20s, right? There are a lot of aircon plaza. It's still not so. It's not common that we use natural ventilation in shopping mall or plaza. Yeah. So this will extract the wind from the narrow gap to the main court. Actually, I stand over the corridor. It's very windy. Yeah. So this is Dr. Keng Yang, all about the wind. Okay, cool. Cool. How? Next. I just involved in the design or SKU. SKU is a low-cost housing, right? And these projects, we're using all the climatic data, simulations, to see is there any improvement we can do as an architect for low-cost housing. Yeah, because not many people like to spend their time in research in low-cost housing because not big fees, developer don't want to spend a lot of architectural features on it. But we use these opportunities. So we study all the sun angles on the morning time and the afternoon time just to adjust the positions of the tower to tower. How to minimize the shade, minimize the numbers of the unit that's shaded by the sun. if you cannot avoid, what is the minimum hours, yeah, we can offer to the units for sunlight. So we do the shadow analysis, and then we come up with a difference, length, you know, and to justify it, whether they have an issue of this is a wind speed simulations. Because a high-rise building, when you put too many blocks together, they will create a wind tunnel. And the wind tunnel, you will increase the wind speed, you know, and you feel uncomfortable, especially during the raining day. Yeah. And we also analyze where's the wind coming from. So when we do simulations, we do exactly the wind pattern. And this is how we convince the client, say, you know, this orientation is the best, not make too long, yeah. And we also do a 3D simulations to understand, you know, up to what level. You know, sometimes we build too high, too tall, the building, you create a problem for the wind tunnel. And we also do some simulation of lighting, where the light source coming from. We talk about lobby, of course, the light source from the skylight, and also from the side, the end-to-end. But a lot of projects nowadays, we put the staircase, you know, end-to-end, you know, because to increase the efficiency for fire regulations. Then you block the light source. Then we have to find a ways how to make the end-to-end open. Yeah. Of course, it will depends on the length of the building, even though you put end-to-end opening. But if the corridor is too long and too narrow, the light cannot penetrate so deep in. Yeah? So we need to find a balance with a lot of testing and research. And so can we make a staircase open, you know? Can we make the skylight as big as possible? You make the walkable area smaller, but give back more space for the air well. So we come up many options, actually. And this is the CFD. No, sorry, this is daylight factors. So we want to check with this kind of plans, long plans, yeah. You can see the blue dot. All the blue dot is a dark area, yeah. And don't forget, daylight factors depends of the daylight outside. It's just the factors. So when we have darker day, right, actually inside a lot more darker, yeah. So we come up with these plans to show, right, if this plan, this length, this size of an air well, you can blind out the whole lobby, no issue, yeah. Then we do the CFD, airflow. Now this airflow, we make the entrance, you know, end-to-end bigger gap, but the lift lobby smaller gap. So we can increase the airflow speed in the center, but the lower air speed when they come in, to avoid the rain splashing in the lobby, but to maintain the ventilations in the center of the lobby. That is a venturi effect. And then we show this is a normal scheme. We show if the floor plan is too long and too narrow, the air lost the momentum to pass through the whole corridor. And this is the end result, the airflow. Well, it's built and handover last year. And, you know, it's a very simple elevations, but it's a very bright lobby. Yeah, very bright, very open. And these are different angles of the lobby. And yeah, it's work. Fantastic work, a big air well. And this is where the entrance in, facing out. And we also propose they have a planter box every 5 floors or 6 floors to block the rain splashing in. These are internal. I mean, the floor plan is also very unique, but I'm not going deep for today. It's a very open plan. A lot of balcony. They have 3 balconies in this unit. This is overall. Actually, the room is not facing the natural ventilation. It's facing the balcony. Some of the videos, I think. This is an internal unit, inside the unit. Notice during the handover time, means that there are no light installed at all. But when you check any corner, anywhere there are no light, they feel very dark. So actually, the outcome is quite not bad. Every corner is bright up. This is a plunder box. I think not many ISKU or low-cost housing have plunder box like this scale. Of course, you have to save a lot of money to convince your client to have plunder box on certain levels. Right, so this, another case study, also one of our projects. This is the shop lot. Sometimes the climaticalism or climatic design, you no need to go to the very special projects. Even though normal shop lot, we are 5 foot way, right? Malaysia 5 foot way is part of our architectural features. We're proud of it. So we look at the 5 foot way. What's a modern 5 foot way we can do with our more climatic knowledge? So we design like this, look like a normal. But one day the clients ask me, Ashi, are you draw a wrong drawings? Why the ground floor, the soffit is so low? You see, it's very low. Almost you can touch the soffit. Yeah. Actually, then I show them this. We analyze the sun angles on the afternoon side and the morning side. It's very chill. During the afternoon, the shop lot on the ground floor, they never have a direct penetration of the sunlight. And you will walk through it, right? You will shade it. Malaysia, we like umbrella everywhere because we really don't like the hotness under the sun. Yeah. So this is what we try to do. Every time when you justify something, what the height is it? Because there's no law say you need to such a height for your 5 foot way. We only have law say the minimum room height, or minimum car park height. Well, is it good enough? We won't lower than the car park height or the room height. Yeah. But in order to analyze it, beside the height, we also need to understand how deep is your lobby. Yeah. If it's too narrow, then you need more shading. But in a deep plan, then it's okay, not so bad. Yeah. So the last case study, one of my earlier test up projects is a toilet. Now this is a zero energy toilet, no energy use, no energy needed for this toilet. And after a while it become like this. So when we design, the first thing we want everywhere have a planter box and allow the plants to grow in time. Actually the site is in the school. Because there's no space for the school, we only allocate for a garden, the pocket garden for us. So we don't want to cut any trees. We just work in a very limited area. As you can see, this toilet just behind the guardhouse in front of the gate. Yeah, very prominent. But when we design it, we try to not make it look like a toilet. Yeah, it's just part of the classroom or structure. And this identical toilets, they do the second one. We're using the similar design to see whether it's a universally can adapt, but using the similar philosophy. For example, there's a single pitch roof. Because single pitch roof is very effective to collect the water. Otherwise, there are too many angles, the water will run everywhere. The single pitch roof, when we design according to the sun angles because we don't want to block the corridor sunlight. You can see this on the left-hand side, there's another single-story building beside us. It's the storage. As you see, the quality of the corridor has been blocked. Just 1 story height. But our side, right, we see there is a bright corridor, even at the same time. Yeah. Now, there is a difference. when you let the building designed by our bank contractor. Yeah. And architect, that is the difference. So you tell your clients, when you build, right, you cannot demolish it. It will be there for another 30 years or 50 years. Okay, so don't save the little fees and then our bank contractor design for you. We'll deliver a message to our client. And inside, it's all bright up. There's no need to on the light. The no door. Why? Because it's the toilet. More enclosure means you trap more smell or air inside. So we try to design something no door, no full wall, totally open. And even though you stand over there, right, doing your business, you can look outside. Don't worry, only for boy, no girls. Yeah, no worry. Yeah, we only for boy. Well, after this, right, the headmaster actually come to me and say, "Oh, thank you, AXXU. Your toilet, right, actually improve our discipline." Wow, I thought I designed green, not discipline. Why? Oh, now less student bonding. Yeah, last time we bonding, we hide inside the toilet. Yeah, now no more students smoking in the toilet. Wow, because when you smoke, right, you can see the smoke coming out. No more students fighting in the toilet. Well, when I'm young, we fight in the toilet. We close the door and then fight inside. Yeah, you know where to run. But this one, no door. So no one fight. Oh yeah, so sometimes good architecture, you can solve the discipline issues. There's something bonus. Yeah, this is a light, no need on the lights, therefore no energy use at all, because this is one objective we want. When you wash your hand, the water will flow gravitately behind and flush the urinal again. Something very DIY, you're just using the gravity and telling the story, because boy, they don't like wash their hand after toilet. But you tell them, don't worry, you wash your hand, then you can help to clean up the toilets. Yeah, create this kind of story for them. And all the grey water we use twice. And the towels, actually recycled towels from the classroom. This towel is 75 years old, actually, from France. So we study how the pattern like, and we install back. And all the materials, well, we have few rules for the contractors. Number one, all the materials must be sourced locally, in Ipoh only, not out of Ipoh. Second, all the maintenance can be done by anyone, any handyman. Yeah, so try not hiding the pipe inside or whatever. And then the design, we want to expose all the piping, because we hard to determine where is the leaking, in futures, especially M&E. There is a lifespan for M&E pipe. And we don't want the high maintenance, like painting. Yeah. Therefore, we don't paint the wall as much as possible. Actually, no paint at all, actually, this building. Yeah, this is some rules that we give before the design started, before construction started. So the whole team will follow the parameters. We can call it sustainable parameters, etc. And louvers, we check, we design what is the maximum opening for ventilations, but minimum rain splashing in. Yeah. So we come up with this. This also depends on the orientations, depends on context. In Malaysia, normally we use 60 degree to check whether it's good enough to block the rain splashing in the room. 60 degree. Of course, in Malaysia, when the strong wind, 90 degree, the wind will come in 90 degree. But they're so rare. And I also observe so many years our climate patterns. The storm rain in Malaysia actually lasts 50 minutes. So don't worry. Yeah. Because a lot of clients or a lot of people that worry, if a strong wind, then we're splashing in. How? No, 50 minutes. If you can tahan 50 minutes, you can enjoy the rest of the day for natural ventilations. Boleh tak? Boleh, okay. Yeah. So 50 minutes. This is the back of the toilet. Now, besides we cover ESG, right? You cannot just take care of the building, not take care of the people. Why taking care of people? Because the first one we interview is a cleaner. Right? Not headmaster. Headmaster not the one who come and maintains the toilet for you. So we interview the cleaner. Okay, how do you clean the toilet? Where you want the tap to be? Yeah. And where do you rest? Where do you take your rest? Where do you take your secret? Yeah. So we work a nice environment. They say, okay, we prepare a resting area for you, which is here. Yeah. And they're asking for storage, oh, we want to store our things, our stuff. Okay, we have a storage at the back. So we left a tree for them as well. Yeah. So people will, the one who using this building, especially the one who maintain this building, they have to like this building and they're involved in the design process. I think this is a part of the ESG value we're talking about. Oh, and then become HOI in the local newspaper. As we say, now the mindset is shifted. Now, in the old days, if you design a 5-star toilet with an aircon, then everyone will hoo-ha things. But nowadays, we design something, no aircon, nothing, it becomes hoo-ha things. But actually, our parents in Kampong, right, they do something similar. Right? In Kampong, also no light, recycle waste. Now, we just have a client ask me, how to design the most green toilet. I say, yeah, something like this. But I say, we do farming. Do you accept recycle the waste? I think it's okay. But can you accept your waste mixed with other people's waste? As long as we don't see it, it should be okay. Well, so nowadays, right, people will come back to the basic, you think about all these crazy ideas. Actually, from our Kampong 20 years ago, we're already happening. Yeah, just we need our young architects study back how people live last time, and can we use the modern strategies to apply in our modern buildings. Okay, this is all about, I won't show my face because the conflict interest, a council member cannot promote ourselves. Yeah. So it's just a case study, not promoting anything. And what is a climaticalism? Someone asked all about climaticalism. The climaticalism actually is to study, understand the wind, the sun, how does it work, and then let the building isn't designed by me, it's shaped by the climate. Yeah. So let our ego, put down our ego as a designer. We need to control everything. Actually, we don't want to control anything, but we need to understand everything. Once you understand, right, the answer will be there. Yeah, you don't need to forcefully, I will change this and do it. And your Windows orientations is optimized, balanced, monsoon rain. Where you open your windows, the directions based on the monsoon rain. You need to understand where the wind come from. And when the wind come from, when the time, is it a monsoon rain or the dry season? Also different. Yeah. Like the wind dynamic influence the window design. How big is it? They want to go small, big, and opening orientation based on the sun angles, etc. So, in summary, climaticalism is a design solely leave it to the climate. We are not controlling it, but we understand it, and we translate into our built environment. Yeah, I think that is my sharing today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Architect AXXU HOI. Climaticalism in design. Okay, thank you. Thanks to both our speakers. Now, of course, we'd like to proceed to the Q&A session. I hope all of you have a lot of questions for all the hoo-ha things we saw today. Can I please get both our guest speakers on stage? First of all, of course, I would like to call upon T.S. Raja SHAZRIN, Shah Raja, EHSAN Shah, and of course, Architect AXXU HOI. Okay, so let's get the ball rolling. Who would like to ask the first question for the day? Don't be shy. Oh, good, we've already got a hand up. Can I please have the gentleman on my right? Please introduce yourself, where you're from, and who the question is for.
Okay, good morning. My name is Elmi. I have a question about sustainability lah, because every time when we talk about sustainability, after the session, we always, I'm not sure about one of you, but I always feel guilty because of all the bad things that are being brought up. You know, like just now the first gentleman say that, you know, gold, you know, how much carbon dioxide is exposed. During my study time, 3 years of architecture is environmental design. So that 3 years I feel guilty because my lecturer will say all the effects of our lifestyle that causing the earth, its degradation and whatnot. But then I felt that throughout being an architecture student and as an architect, I feel like yes, we say that we need to be about sustainable and whatnot, but I don't feel that we're there yet because we're still using elements which are degrading to the earth. For example, the gentleman mentioned concrete, you know. So if you really want the earth to be healing itself, then we may have to stop using elements that is damaging the earth. And throughout my study in environmental design, I concluded that, hey, we free from Malaysia, we live in a tropical climate. Look at our grandfather living in kampong. You know, their houses are made of wood. It's a sustainable element. You know, they grow their own crops. You know, they tanam kebun, bela ayam, ikan, so they can have their own, you know, small environmental footprint. So, as an architect, how do we promote a more healthy earth life whilst we're still using elements that is damaging the earth? I mean, like you see, should we say that we should stop building 118 Merdeka Tower from now on because we're using a lot of all these elements that is producing a lot of carbon dioxide? That's something that's been bothering me since I ventured into environmental design. So I would like to get some inputs from you guys lah. What do you guys feel about it?
I'll take the sustainability part, then you take the architecture part. All right, can we do that? All right, so the idea is, of course, to instill guilt, right? Because I think for sustainability advocates like myself, what we're targeting now in the very beginning, the core of the problem or the core of the strategy is for what we call VCBC, values, culture and behavioral change. So the guilt is intentional, mind you, for that purpose. So, and the idea is not to stop because the world is not black and white. I think all of you architects will appreciate that. It's never all or nothing. It's always a progression. So this is where the values are coming in. Correctly as you put it, our parents lived with much less, but they were not any less happy. Somehow, that's why I brought in jokes just now on the Birkin bag and things like that. So this is where I think on the values part I can answer. What we need to do is look and redefine what we consider as a good living, what we consider as comfort, what we consider as success. And we saw about the toilets just now, you know, perhaps in the normal black and white kind of features that would have been in the toilet, this could have been considered a shed probably, right? But it works. Maybe you can take the architecture part.
Yeah, this is my first question asked my dean during my student times. You show me all this climate change, you know, we feel guilty as architecture students. Are we going to be architect or not? My dean told me, if you want to stop environments, you know, climate change, stop building. Simple as that. But can we stop? We can't. So what next? Therefore, as an architect, what I learned is we have a huge responsibility. The material we use, we spec, is a one-time. It's something that very hard to recycle. Yeah. Therefore, we have a huge responsibility to design something high performance, okay, and mitigate or minimum the impact to the environment. Actually, this is our task. This is what we can do as architect. Therefore, I keep looking, you know, what you really can do down to the ground, passive design. Because only passive design is you don't need energies add-on, you don't need solar panel to help, you don't need aircon, yeah, it's solely window, door, roof design, and this design is all essential as a building. Whether this building green or not, you still have the window. Therefore, what we can do, let's get into the passive design. You want to get into passive design, you need to understand the climate. Yeah. So we cannot stop building, otherwise we are jobless. Yeah. But what we can do is, whatever material we have at hand, we want to use it wisely, diligently, and responsibly. Just like money never an evil, just like how you use the money. I treat it like this. Yeah, we have our duty and role to play in this. Thank you. Hope to solve your QD a bit.
It's the most politically correct answer I've ever heard in my life, I think. In regards to how we feel guilty about our buildings or not. So, very cool. Okay, actually, I would like to ask, following up from that, you've been in the industry for a long time. You know, let's say what happened, say, 30, 40 years ago. Do you feel there's a progression that, yes, you know what, we build, but our designs are more climate responsive now? There is actually proof that we are using less resources, less energy consumption. Do you see that throughout the years in our industry? Or do you think maybe perhaps, no, not really, some of it, but not so much, you know, that kind of thing?
Well, it's quite a hard question. I think, now I always, I'm very scientific mindset. I always look at the fact and data. If you answer these questions, we'll ask whether our building, the BEI is lesser than 10 years ago, the BEI. You know, like your GBI building, yeah, you always submit the calculations, like OTDV, the BEI. Whether the BEI, the building energy intensity, is lower than 10 years ago, then I will justify from there, number one. Number two, if you based on personal experience, I will say we are not that progressive compared to 20, 30 years ago. Now, just my personal, yeah, why? I can notice that all the consumer building nowadays, even though, especially residential, we design based on aircon, air conditioner, right? For example, simple, condo. Now all the condo we're using casement window. And casement windows is only good for aircon. Last time, we used louvers windows. And louvers window, we can adjust the opening, even during the raining time. So now the new condo, we casement, we close, then 100% close. When the raining outside, you have to close. Then, you lost the enjoyment of the cool air. And when because of security, so you have to close the window during at night when you sleep. There also no natural ventilations. Therefore, I think this type of details, we are not progressive. But in terms of how to measure a building to be more perform, I think we are a lot more advanced than last time. Last time, everyone said we are green architects. But today, we cannot run away. We have a lot of measurement, a lot of simulation, a lot of calculations to justify whether this building is perform or not. Yeah. Yeah, so
I think
this is my sharing.
Honest assessment, yeah. It's an honest assessment. If you want to improve, you have to know where we stand now. No point lying to each other. Okay, can we have the next question, please, from members of the audience? We've got a nice one to get things moving from our gentleman on the right side, my right side. Can we have another question now? Perhaps one of the ladies? Just now you designed only for the boys' toilet, right?
Yes.
What about the girls' toilet? Huh? This is for the ladies, because you don't want to ask. Huh?
No, ladies need a bit more energies for the lifestyle. They need more materials. Yeah. That's why always Birkin bag, right? The boy only clipping back. Well, we have to admit that we have a different lifestyle. You know, some gender we really need more maintenance than the other gender.
Speaking from personal experience, I'm
Talking
sure.
about ladies' toilet, I just want to cover a topic on social in the ESG, environment, social and governance, we always talk about DEI, diversity, equity and inclusivity. So the idea that equal is not equitable. So when we talk about toilets, I work with SPAN, so I never realized this until we always go to the shopping malls. Somehow the lady always line up in front of the toilet. So we have very slight differences in terms of our anatomy, right? But why is it that the girls always line up and the boys always get their things done? We never have to line up in the toilet. So, don't wash hands is one thing. But anyhow, yeah, so normally the number of cubicles are the same, right? So it's equal, but it's actually not equal. It's not equitable. Because for us, we have 3 cubicles and there's another 3 urinals. So 6 people can go about the business. So with girls, you have 3 cubicles means 3 people can go about the business. So you're halfway behind. So this is something that, I never thought about that. So when we talk about ESG and sustainability, even though it may seem a little bit on the surface sometimes, but it can actually go very deep. Talking about the windows, I just came back from Germany last month, and they have that kind of encasement window. But I was adjusting it, and if you turn the lever the other way, it actually tilts the whole thing, because my room didn't have a fan. And I was thinking, how these Germans live in summer? It's so hot. So when you tilt the lever the other way, the whole window actually tilts over. I said, oh, okay, I'm so kampung.
Well, we actually have that here as well. Yeah.
Oh, really?
We have products. Yeah, we have products. Not commonly used, but there are products like that here too.
It's wonderful, I tell you. Go and renovate your house.
All right.
Just add on something about the girl, since you talk about ladies. I remember one of our first project is renovate a toilet for shopping mall. Actually, we designed the both toilets separately. Yeah, for the boy, we understand how the boy work. So for the girls, we put more benches. Yeah, because girls sometimes they need to sit to find something. And for the girls' toilets, we have a lot of mirrors. Yeah, we'll get in the big mirrors, and then we have a full-length mirrors, and then we have more cubicles compared to the boy. So actually, we also consider all these ESG things. Boy and girls toilets cannot be identical. We both have a different way of using the toilets.
They have more mirrors. I feel discriminated now.
Okay.
Now, come on, let's ask some questions.
Yeah, I mean,
We're throwing more jokes.
I mean, we've clearly, no one seems to be shy about anything today. So, does anybody else have any other questions that you want to ask? I mean, let's move on from toilets and let's start talking about the other aspects of a building. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll maybe take another 3 questions at the most, and then we'll finish off in about 15 minutes. So, who would like to ask the next question? We've got a full house of environmental experts here today.
Yes.
Oh, we've got one at the back, yes. Okay. Gentleman on my right again. Please introduce yourself, where you're from, and who is the question directed to. Of course, if it's both, then do mention that as well.
Hi, my question is regarding sustainability, in particular materials, because based on my understanding, sustainability arises when there's overconsumption of materials. I think that's what we currently face with the concrete and stuff like that. But considering that we are in a very consumer-based mentality, right? How do we avoid going from what is sustainable today to becoming something that's not sustainable 30 years in the future? Because we're not just designing for tomorrow, but we are designing for generations to come. A good example can be concrete, which was in abundance maybe 30, 40 years ago. Today, now we're looking at it and we're seeing the effects of how it's destroying the environment and causing problems. You can't shift one mountain to another. What do we as young architects and I guess people do to avoid that same mistake going forward into the future?
I didn't get your name, sir.
My name's Naren, ex-student from Taylor's, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's
One of your
ex-lecturer,
products.
yeah. One of his products. I like the sound of that product. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Naren, for the question. I think I would like to also mention when did we start using the word sustainability? I feel that somehow along the way we've bastardized the word, and let me explain why. I think we started to use the word in the late 80s, coming to the 90s, when the civilization, when we were so afraid that fossil fuels will run out. Right or not? We say, oh, this is not sustainable. But if it did run out 20 years ago, that would have been the best thing that happened to humankind, I think. So that's where we use the word. So right now, when we're using the word, somehow we sort of romanticize with those kind of things, those kind of ideas that you use something, it runs out. It runs out. So that's the idea of sustainability now, or the misunderstanding of sustainability. It's not just that. So when you're talking about cement, just now, as I mentioned, we have to understand, cement is made from mountains. You want to build a building, it comes from mountains. That cannot be stopped. But that does not mean that it's not sustainable. So we need to look into the granularity of impacts to see what would be the impact of moving this mountain. If there is a need to move this mountain, this is where we come into the biodiversity, where we come into ecosystem services to see the interrelation between the movement of materials, hydrology, microclimate changes, and these kinds of things. So it's not one single answer. So the other thing that I like to point out right now, we are at the era of Google and ChatGPT. Knowledge is a commodity. We cannot just value things based on knowledge. The important thing now is to know what you don't know. Then you can search for the knowledge. So again, when we talk about sustainability, it's not things running out. It's not about damaging the future, but it's about relating, it's about being understandable or understanding the impacts, what you don't know or what you know or what you need to know, what will happen 20 years down the line, 30 years down the line. That's what sustainability should be and how it should be incorporated into our daily lives, how it should be incorporated into architecture and engineering design, if that makes sense.
It does, yes.
Okay. Hi, students.
Product.
I understand your concerns. Yeah. How do you know what we do today is right for the next 20 years or after 30 years? Well, this is, I think what we learned is you want to know the future, you need to study the history, right? You only can find the answer through the history. Therefore, we have to study, how the previous architect do the building, and today you look back to their building, are you feel this is something not appropriate or not right? Therefore, we study Le Corbusier building, Van Wright building. Yeah, why we still study their buildings? There must be something right. And to me, right is sustainable. Means if they're right in their time, if you're doing something right in their time, if you're doing right in now, also right in the future. So the right things actually is to minimize the impact to the environment, right? Take a bit of concerns or care to the people. I think that is a universal right. Now the second question is, we don't know whether we do like casement window, whether it's right today, but 30 years ago later it's not right. We don't know. But what we can do is, we only can base on the best technology we have today, yeah, to do what we can. Is it okay? For example, nuclear energy maybe is the best for efficiency.
It is.
It is, right? I think for sustainable industry, right, we all agree nuclear power actually is the best solutions. But it's not right today because of mindset, because of technologies, right? Then maybe it can be right in the 30 years later. We don't know. But if you want to design something, right, we cannot design nuclear car. We are not there yet. It's okay. Now, someone told me, is that fossil fuel is a bad thing? Actually, no. No. Imagine if 100 years ago we do not discover fossil fuel, what kind of energy we going to use until today? Timber, wood. If without the fossil fuel, all the forests will be gone. We are nothing left today. Not even a single jungle. Do you think fossil fuel is a bad thing? Maybe 1,000 years later, they say no. Fossil fuel save our planet. We never know, correct? Therefore, we need to keep learning, keep exploring, you know, keep thinking any way we can for the good of planet. But what we can do, we only can utilize the current technologies and do something more efficient, more performance, and minimum the impact. Is it cool?
Cool, yes, I guess. I think I would like to add on that resources is one thing, but how we use those resources is a lot more efficient and effective than it used to be. Cars use less fuel, for instance, to drive, as say, 20, 30 years ago. So I think maybe there was a concern that fossil fuels would have run out maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago, whatever, but the way we use them right now is a hell of a lot more efficient as well, and it's prolonged the usage of these fuels. But that's what I read a while ago, so just a general thought. Okay, let's have maybe a couple of more questions and we'll wrap up the session for today. Or perhaps just one last question. Who would like to give us the last question before we end at 12:15? Hey, whose phone is that? Okay.
It's not mine, I hope.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so seriously, one last question and we can wrap up for the day. Let's give our guests a nice... we've got one question at the back as well. Okay. The gentleman at the back, on my right.
I'm Jeffrey. I work for a contractor company. So I actually have a bit of a question for AXXU. So when you design for sustainable or environmental friendly buildings, do you actually face any issues where the client actually question about the cost? I mean, compared to building conventional buildings. Because I also worked for Kenyang before. And the time when we were designing for PJ Central, Tower 5, the client is actually MRCB. So of course, Kenyang is known for building like passive designs and all. So we actually proposed like fins, you know, Kenyang's well-known features, design features. So we actually proposed fin just to block off the heat and the sun glares. So apparently the client actually questioned about the cost and they cut it down. And even like we proposed like air wells, going through the buildings and all. And they wanted to fill up everything to make it into a very conventional or typical kind of a glass facade building. So I just wanted to know if there are any strategies that we can convince the client, or maybe what would you do, like if you are in my shoes, facing this kind of.
So this is a convince or con?
Yeah.
We accept.
Convince, but you're converse, yeah?
No, we
Yeah,
also
tell the
convince.
story first.
We also try to convince the client because, like we also produce. We actually engage like consultants and to produce like statistics and all, data and all, just to tell the clients that okay, you can actually reduce your energy saving and all. But that would be like 30 years in 30 years time that you can only get the savings. But what the client is looking is actually the current cost that they are incurring.
Capital
Yes.
capacity. Okay, good questions, yeah. First of all, I always criticize why the one who want to save the planet have to pay more. Green should be affordable movement. The one who save the planet should pay lesser for the electric car, not the one who drive the petrol. Why electric car have to sell more expensive than the normal car? You see, it's not right. Therefore, one of our direction is we want to design affordable green. Means green building doesn't mean you have to pay more. If you want to pay more, where the cost will go? Because we just design a basic building. So most of our the president we show is all under budget. Not over budget. Yeah, it's not more expensive than any building, any normal building. No. Yeah. If a passive design, I believe you will save more cost because you do not need to spend all the M&E. Therefore, M&E engineer don't like me. Yeah. We do not buy a lot of equipments. Yeah. You use a less tank or less tap or less wiring. So why can't we save all the cost? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Of course, if you based on GBI data, the minimum increment of cost of certified building, 3 to 5%. For platinum building, 12 to 15%. Now, this figure will scare people out. Yeah. So then the next is how you convince the message to your clients. The clients, the first thing will ask, what is my benefit if I get the certified or platinum, right? Normally, sorry about GBI, normally we don't talk about any rating tools, no. We just do the simulations, or we just apply in our building like normal design. You're not even aware that. You understand? If you try to enhance it, right, then people try to question. It's just part of the design. It's blended in our design, blended in. Yeah. Then there's no question at all. You understand? Of course, when you want to achieve the, let's say, green tools, your GBI, there are many costs incur. Like for example, the insulation, you need to put the spacing, you know, how much increase of cost. But we talk about select the color. We need the SRI color, white. No cost. Where the cost coming in? The black color also same cost, white color also same cost. So all the increment cost actually is equipment you buy. More effective, inverter aircon, more expensive. Yeah, you buy the insulations. You want it thicker because you want to achieve the U value. Low E glass. This is all cost. But we are not started with that. We started with passive design. Yeah, we blended in our basic buildings. Therefore, we never talk about cost with the clients. The clients always believe that we are not trying to increase the cost to make it green. I think this is a very wrong concept. We always tell the clients, if you apply green, you save a lot of costs.
Can I add on to that?
No, maybe I'm wrong.
No, not at all. Just that I currently sit on a task force for the NRES ministry, and we are writing a blueprint for the country. It's called the National Planetary Health Action Plan. And this is where new concepts are coming in related to sustainability and planetary health. Now, what does that have to do with your question earlier on? So the reason that all our green efforts are getting so much resistance is that the alternative is always cheaper. Yeah. So fossil fuels are cheaper than electricity. That's why nobody wants to buy EV. It's considered to be a premium, but that will change because right now the conversation shouldn't be return on investment. It should be return on value. This is where you have to come in to put dollars and cents figure for the damage that will come. So frameworks are being introduced by public listed companies. If you look at Bursa right now, they're introducing a framework called ICP, internal carbon pricing. So that's one dimension where if you put the ROI just now, let's say you translate that into carbon pricing, the carbon that they would save by not consuming that extra bit of electricity, for example, right? If you factor that in with the ETS rate of carbon, which they might be introduced under Rupin, Rang Undang-Undang Perubahan Iklim Negara, if you put that price in, now the scales will shift. Right, so they can be prepared, or they can just try it out now, go for the conventional now and pay it back later. So this can happen. It can actually affect your wallet because that's the only way people will listen. Nobody wants to save the planet, they want to save the wallet for a Birkin bag.
That's a great motto. Huh? Nobody wants to save the planet, they only want to save their wallet. Okay, I think that'll be the last question for the day. It's already 12:15. Let's give both our gentlemen here a round of applause. I've obviously very much enjoyed myself. I hope you as well. Now, before we end, again, we would like to thank our event sponsor, Suzuka Coats and Berhad, as well, of course, as our guests for the day, T.S. Raja SHAZRIN SHAH, Raja EHSAN SHAH, and, of course, Architect AXXU HOI for their informative sharing. Please scan the second QR code outside to your sign-out before leaving the event and fill out the form. Please keep in mind that this, of course, will be the proof to claim your CPD points later. Thank you, of course, everyone who joined us here today. We always appreciate your presence. Have a safe journey home and see you at the next event. Hopefully UIA next weekend, okay? KLCC. Thank you so much and take care.